Well, being open and honest about your mental health isn't easy. It can be true for men, especially Black men. There's a tour coming to Pittsburgh designed to help men open up and just heal. It's called Just Heal Bro, and Pittsburgh native and actor Lamman Rucker is part of it. I talked to him about the event. Lamman Rucker, welcome to Intersections. You are coming back home to Pittsburgh for the upcoming Just Heal Bro tour. Tell us a little bit about this tour and why you wanted to be involved.
Well, from its inception, what we wanted to do was just create really what we call a space for honesty, for transparency. Our primary themes are vulnerability, transparency, transformation. Um, a lot of men don't always get the permission, if you will, to really to truly be themselves, to truly speak the truth about how they feel, to have places where they can um, identify with what other men are going through and to share with other brothers what what they're going through. We often feel that we're isolated. We often isolate ourselves. We subscribe to a lot of narratives like men don't communicate. We also, I think, unfortunately, agree to the things that people say to us as well, or the way sometimes we feel people treat us like men don't have feelings. And we should know by the history of the world that, how much so many things happen around this world because of men's feelings,
Yeah.
not because of maybe how things actually are, but we have to really be honest about our levels of sensitivity, the things that we're passionate about, the things that we're afraid of, the things that we, don't often say out loud. There are other things, for example, that men cry in the dark. You know, they're
Yeah.
afraid to do that publicly, afraid to do that in front of other people. So what we try to do is just create an environment where those things can happen in a very powerful, profound, productive, and safe, uh, confidential way as well. So there are no cameras. We're not recording anything. We're not retelling these stories, even, right? Except in a very general sense, maybe as a teachable moment to say, oh, you know what? There was a guy from Pittsburgh one time that said something very similar, or there was a conversation we had in Kansas City, or Memphis, or whatever, where this same kind of thing came up. But we never um, give any details about someone's life, anyone's name, any of the other names involved in the stories that people are sharing, so that they know they can absolutely, pour their heart out if they felt moved to do so. And we've had countless men say, "Thank God for this day. Thank God for this event, because I've been holding on to this thing for years, right? Or I've never been able to say this to anybody, and now I feel like this is the environment that I can, safely, finally, um, come forward with this and have the kind of solidarity around me and the expertise, not just the love, but the expertise to help me and guide me through."
Yeah. Like you're saying, it's designed for only men. That means the women have to go shopping or to the salon. you know?
That's right. That's right. And you
Um,
know what? Not that you wouldn't be happy you went shopping anyway, but you definitely would did on a day like this. But just the same, women have a lot of work to do too, right? But this is part of what this is about as well. As much as we love you, as much as we need, all right, we need you, and we need you to um, love us through this. Um, we need women to do their work. This is our commitment to ourselves and to one another to do this work in the way that we believe men need to do it, so that we can even more adequately be um, who we want to be, and to be there for the women and in our lives, our children, our elders as well. But I believe men will move in the world and move through the world in a relationship will be much healthier and fortified when they have the opportunity to have access to an experience like this and resources like
Yeah.
so.
I
Women, you're gonna have some conversations you know maybe didn't expect to have, but they're gonna do you some good. And so drop that brother off or drop that young man off. Bring your son, your nephew, godson, your mentee, your neighbors, so whoever it is, go and drop them by. Hey, y'all go and gather somewhere, and then y'all come back. But yeah, we lock the doors and we shut it down, and we go in. It's really a great time. Sincerely, we have a lot of fun. It can get heavy sometimes, or it can get heavy at times, or certain segments of it can be that way. But believe it or not, trust me, when we leave that room, you might also see tears, but they're just as many tears of joy as there are tears of cleansing and some of the trauma that maybe people have expressed and are working through, or cleansing out. But we have a great time, man. So I want the men to know, hey, you're not gonna come out of here like stressed out. You're gonna come out of here joyous and triumphant. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I noticed in some of the information that this isn't just for adult men. You're actually allowing 13 and up. So, like your teenage sons, our teenage sons, to be part of that. Why is that important?
Well, because we believe one that this needs to be a multi-generational conversation. Um, Again, there's expertise in clinical training and information involved. This isn't just an experiential conversation. This is also, you'll get language, you'll get terminology, you'll get things like that. They're like, oh, that's what that is. That's what. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what that's called. Or right. So we want to normalize all of that. We want to normalize therapy. We want not only our fathers and grandfathers to have access to this, but we want, our sons and, like I said, nephews and grandsons to also have access because they need to see that this is, an example of what healthy manhood looks like. This is an example of what having a healthy heart, a healthy emotional relationship with yourself, and even healthy relationships with other men. This is what that looks like. This is what fatherhood looks like. This is what brotherhood looks like. This is what self-awareness, you know, looks like. This is a healthy place, right? And we think those are all very solid examples and models for young men and boys. Teaching our young boys again how to communicate, that it's healthy to talk, express your feelings. Suicide rates are extremely high for men and boys, and we've got disproportionate rates of that happening, in particular with men and boys of color as well. We want to prevent that. We want to prevent the um, the other disruptive and violent behaviors that we're seeing a lot amongst some of our young men and boys. The majority of that is happening because these little boys don't know how to deal with their feelings. They don't know where to go for help. They don't believe that we're here to listen to them just as much as teach and talk and guide them through things. So we want to make sure that we're doing this in a way that it serves more than just our, you know, 30 to 40, 30, 40, 50 year olds. We want, like you said, our 13 to our 113-year olds to be here and be part of this conversation. And I want to give a big shout out to the our superintendent of schools, um, and they're bringing a bunch of young people and are one of our sponsors as well. And the mayor's office, of course, big shout out to Mayor Ed Gainey, his staff for being um, one of our initial and primary sponsors. Major support from the mayor's office and the My Brother's Keeper Alliance to make this work and to bring this, to the city of Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
they're very much focused and prioritized on making sure that this serves our youth just as much as it serves our adults and elders.
Yeah. So this is happening, as, Father's Day, will have happened already, but, there's a lot of thought around fathers and fatherhood. You mentioned fatherhood. Um, do you think that this kind of environment helps, men be great fathers, better fathers, bring something, that they will learn into how they father their sons and daughters?
Yes, I believe 100% this helps men be greater fathers. I mean, if I believe it will help you become a better man, again, whatever that means, which is another one of our conversations. What is manhood, right? And even that question, what is fatherhood? What does that look like for you? What were your examples of that? How would you personally challenge what the definition of fatherhood is? How are you struggling with what the definition of fatherhood is? You're not the first person to struggle with what the definition of fatherhood is. So, absolutely, just like men affectionately say, you know, Mother's Day is every day, I believe Father's Day should be every day just as well. So, even though this is happening, what after I think Father's Day is what, Sunday, the 16th? We want men to know you always matter, you also have value. You're important every day. And being a father is an everyday thing. Sometimes it can be a thankless job, but more than anything, I believe it's incredibly and unmistakably um, the most important job. If you have the privilege to be a father or to father a child, who you are, not what you do, not what you've achieved, not what you've accomplished, your title, what you have, what you bought, how big your house is, how much money you make. None of that matters as much as who you are. You being in the conversation, you being present, you being healthy, your wellness being as great and as maximized as it possibly can so that you can be the best you. Therefore, you can bestow the best of you to those that you brought into the world. So, all this other tangible, materialistic, artificial stuff is absolutely meaningless. So, we want to really like create maybe even a paradigm shift in our value system as men and how we have been walking through the world, how we've been socialized, how we've been conditioned in many ways. A lot of that has not been in our best interest. It hasn't really been um, for our own good and to our own good. We've damaged ourselves, we've damaged one another, we've hurt our family. The world is in absolutely, disarray and chaos in so many ways because um, we've been afraid to really challenge some of these definitions and some of these paradigms. So we're not afraid to do that, and we're trying to be very courageous. And I think as men of color, and I'll proudly say it, as Black men predominantly, we are stepping up and stepping forward and doing our best to be brave, to continue to model what bravery looks like, and that courage is magnified and multiplied exponentially when we're able to do that together. So, for all the fathers out there, we love you, we believe in you. You can do it. You're going to be okay. And if you've got some things to fix or change, more importantly, if you've got some healing to do, there are also things that you can do to facilitate the healing of people you love. There's forgiveness you need to go get. More importantly, if there's forgiveness you need to give, actually, that's going to liberate you and put you in such a greater place that you're going to be a better father than you would have ever imagined. But it starts with you. So for every one of us, we want to make sure that we're doing this work and we're supporting and encouraging other men. It's been life changing. It's been life changing for us, even though we're the leaders of this conversation, so to speak. We're the facilitators of this conversation. Our relationships with each other and the things that we continue to do throughout the world, personally and professionally, have been enhanced and have been magnified by this experience a thousandfold. I don't even know what my life would be without having been a part of this before, without having had access to this type of information, not just during the, but I've been privileged to have this throughout my life. As a child born in Pittsburgh, I've had access to an excellent public school education. I came back later to come to college, even in Pittsburgh as well. Um, but my access to the arts, my access to the community. of Pittsburgh, beautiful, incredible men that I've had in my life, of course, obviously, including my father. I can't even begin to tell you, like, and of course, the women as well, but without this type of support, this type of information, this type of community, this type of healthy example of what this looks like, there's no way my life would be what it is. So I believe this is my obligation to give this away, share this, facilitate this conversation for as many men as I possibly can. And
Yeah.
I'm with some incredibly dynamite, dynamic, beautiful, brilliant black men by my side that they're gonna blow you away. I can't wait to share them with Pittsburgh, and I can't wait to introduce them uh, to my birthplace and hometown. And you see, I'm proud to rock my black and gold every chance I get. So shout out to all my family and friends that I love there. Can't wait.
Just Hill Bro is on Thursday, June 20th at the Pittsburgh Public Theater. There's a mixer at 6:30 and the panel discussion starts at 7:30. Free registration is available at justhill.co, and we'll also share more of our conversation on CBS News Pittsburgh and on our KDKA YouTube channel.